In this next exercise, we're going to be stretching the outer hamstring muscles as opposed to the main hamstring, which were in the first exercise. So we're going to have our knees dropped out to the side, good distance between the feet, and the hands just resting on the knees here. And again, as in the first exercise, we're going to start with a good deep breath. So just sitting up on the sit bones, and just the head level, taking a good deep breath in, shoulders lifting up. Big sigh as you do that, and then slowly breathing out through the mouth, letting your shoulders come down very slowly again, letting the elbows totally relax at the end of the breath. And then you're going to collapse the body again, letting yourself sink down into yourself, back of the head dropping over. Once you're totally relaxed, you're going to just lean forward from your hip joints, let your hands slide down to your ankles, and let your weight drop down between your knees. Relax your shoulders. Don't keep your face toward the floor. Let the back of your head really drop over again. Now we're going to have the same kind of stretch to the side of the hip and these outer pelvic muscles, but you're going to do that by pushing your left hand against your left ankle, and that's going to push your body over to the right without any real muscles being used, but just leaning the weight, and now that will increase the stretch to these muscles in the side of your pelvis. Again, as before, let yourself shift across through the center. Now the other hand takes over, pushes into the ankle. So just notice that you're leaning away from this hip again. You're not lifting the side at all. So you want to feel there's an opening through the hip joint here. Keep your head dropped with the body. And you do that just slowly across again a few times, one side to the other. You might want to see if you can go a little further, leaning a bit more. Now that might start to lift this, but you're not still lifting it consciously. It may come a little bit higher, but only because you are leaning your weight a little further. And again across to the other side, pushing with the hand. You'll notice that your arm straightens. Now, that will only happen depending on the length of your arm in relation to where your knees are. If, for example, you have your knees are high because they don't go further down and you can't get your arm straight, it's not important to straighten it. You simply need the push from your hand. In this case, maybe you need to keep the elbow slightly bent, and that's perfectly all right. It's not a position that you're trying to get into. You want to feel the stretch in the side of your hip. So however you need to position yourself. If you feel that you're going to knock yourself or rock right over, put your hand on the floor and then push and just lean away again. So we're looking for the stretch to be registered in these muscles just in the side of the pelvis, leading down into the hip joint area. So you may just have to experiment a little and find what's the best position for your body to feel that stretch. When you come out of this stretch, if you just shift your weight slowly backward so your shoulders are over your hips, and let your hands slide up your shins so that they rest just below your knees. And then as you come up through your back, take a good deep breath. You can let your shoulders come up again a little, but this time you're going to pull on your knees or just below your knees with your hands, draw your lower abdominal muscles in, and then with the help of your hands, try to sit right up on the sit bones so that the back of your pelvis is straightening. And as your pelvis straightens, then the upper back can follow. If you don't get the pelvis straight to begin with, you're not going to be able to straighten all through the back. And this may actually take some time before you're going to be able to sit right up on the sit bones with your back straight. So that's what you're aiming for. And the help from your hands is what is helping you to get there. It may take, as I say, a bit of time, even if you just get this far, but you know that you're trying to get right up on the sit bones and the back of the pelvis straight. Then you're accomplishing the purpose of the goal. The purpose is not necessarily to feel that you have to get up here the first time you do it. That's not the purpose. The purpose is to engage the muscles in the back of your pelvis with the help of your hands, so that as they strengthen and as your hip joints loosen, then you'll be able to sit up more easily when your legs are straight and your back has to be up. So this is helping to get the looseness of the pelvis. The abdominal muscles will also have to be drawn in when you pull with the hands. If you don't have the abdominal muscles pulled inward and you pull with the hands, then you're apt to get into this. So you're arching too much into the back and your stomach is being pushed out. So as you breathe out and pull the abdominal muscles in, this creates a kind of block, so that a resistance, so that your back cannot overarch, and then you have no strain in it. So you have to keep in mind the pull with the hands, rolling up on the sit bones, breathing out, and as you breathe out, pulling these lower abdominal muscles in, trying to feel the grip or the pressure of the back trying to come up. So you will feel some contraction in the back muscles. Now, when you relax out of it, don't let your whole body cave in the top. Don't let your head drop down. This involves too much of the body. To come out of this, you have to find where does your head stop lifting so that it doesn't lift the chin, so that it comes up straight from the back. How far up does your pelvis come to connect with your back? Too many things to think about. We're looking for just an isolated movement of the pelvis. So when you relax out of this, just soften from your waist down. Roll off the sit bones, let your lower back relax, and essentially try to stay feeling from the waist up more or less as you were here. So let me just show you that. If we have the lower back relaxed, you take a breath in here, and as you breathe out, pull with the hands, stomach is drawn in, roll up onto the sit bones, press the back of the pelvis forward. And now we're going to relax just the lower back, and as you do that, you're breathing in. And as you breathe out, you pull with the hands, roll up, press the back of the pelvis forward, and your breath is just stays out while you're up here. And then when you run out of breath and you need to breathe in again, that's when you relax your lower back. So here we are, relaxing the back, breathing in and breathing out. So the movement is very coordinated with your breathing. Each movement has its own breath. The relaxation back out of it is breathing in, and breathing out, you're pressing up into the back of the pelvis. You're breathing in on the release, and breathing out as you come up. So that may feel a little bit opposite to what you would expect. Most people feel that when they're relaxing, their breath is going out. And if you were to do this exercise that way, let's say I have breathed out here. Now as I come up, I'm going to breathe in. And you'll see right away and listen to my voice, it's full of strain. Breathing in as you come up creates strain in your body. And if I breathe out here, it's very difficult not to collapse altogether. So the breath in is on the relax, and the breath out is on the rolling up and the use of the muscles. And that actually applies all the way through. Exercises that have to do with using your muscles in a strengthening way, you will always be breathing out, because that breath out focuses energy into the working muscles. So that's something to remember as well.